Yesterday I released my cover version of the song Stranger by BLANKS, and today I want to show you how and why I made it. So the why is pretty simple. I recently started learning guitar and I've also been a BLANKS fan for years now, so naturally the first thing I learned on guitar was the riff from Stranger. If you don't know what I mean, it's the riff that's basically going on throughout the whole song. So that's the riff. I recorded it for the verses and also for the instrumental breaks. But there I also layered it with some guitars that are panned left and right, that are playing some static chords. So here's what I mean. I also processed the main guitar a little differently. If we now take a look at the second instrumental break, we can see there's another guitar that's playing a slow arpeggio. I also panned that left and right to give it a little bit more space and width. On the double track guitars I also used a trick because the reverb of the guitar, for example the left guitar, is on the right channel and the reverb of the right guitar is on the left channel. That's just something to glue the guitars more together. I can for example show you the slow arpeggiating guitar left. And if you listen closely, you will hear that the reverb of the guitar is on the right channel. Also, the same thing with the right guitar. The reverb is on the opposing channel. The last thing I played in was the guitar solo. And for me, this was the favorite part because I just love playing solos. I just added some chorus to it, widened it up, and put it through an amp simulator, saturated it a little bit, and put delay, EQ, and a little bit of reverb on it. So that just gives me that, in my opinion, awesome guitar sound. Next thing I want to talk about is the bass. We basically have two main bass lines that are repeating. The first one you can hear definitely coming from the pre-chorus to the chorus, to the first chorus. So there, as you can hear, the bass is basically playing the same thing as the guitar, just doubling up or fattening up the guitar at that point. But now we can hear that the bass is playing something different. It's kind of diverging from the guitar part. And guitar and bass are playing something that's known as call and response. So basically the guitar plays something and the bass responds with another melody. And as you can hear at that point, it just goes on throughout basically the whole song. Another thing that I didn't mention when I showed you the guitar parts was that I also have this verse rhythm guitar CFX layer. So if we just play it without it, and then add it in, You can hear that it just gives the guitar part a little bit more mid and low end. That's just because this is basically the same take as that one, just split in half, doubled up, and retimed or repitched with the plugin called Deja Vu by Semantics. Awesome free plugin, check it out. Next we will focus on the drum production. So as you can see, there are two main groups of drums. There are the main drums and the auxiliary drums. First of all, we'll just focus on the main drums. So I will also put up this automation here to show you that I automated the cutoff frequency of a filter. And as you can hear, if you just solo the drums, it sounds like this. So just like in the original, going into the instrumental break, first of all, the drums are kind of muffled, and then as soon as we are in the instrumental break, they fully clear up. So also, if we just go to the end of the instrumental break, and transition to verse 2, you can hear basically the same thing is happening there. Just not that extreme, but also the kit has a different sound and is a little bit more muffled in general. So that's the main thing for the drums. We have a pretty basic kick and snare pattern, and also these cymbals that are hitting alternately left and right. So next thing is the auxiliary drums. I just put risers and other cymbals there, so reverse cymbals and cymbals. And as you can hear, they just sound like this. And they're just there to make better transitions and also gradually improve or gradually increase the energy. And as you can see at the first one, I also did something special. I added this stuttering reverse cymbal just like that. It's a pretty subtle effect, but I also added another cymbal just to double it up. Now we can talk about the pad and key production. I'll just open the folder, and as you can see, we have basically 4 pads. So in the first instrumental break and also the second instrumental break, we can hear that we have 3 pads. We have one gritty pad. It's adding texture to everything. Then we have this atmospheric pad that, as the name implies, just adds some atmosphere and width. And we have this E-piano. That just adds a little bit more of the mids and lows and also just fills out the space. But as you can hear, or as you can see, we also have this powerful pad that's just joining in the second chorus and continues to play until the end of the song. That just sounds like this. Pretty harsh, aggressive, or no, gritty. Just also to add some texture in, because especially if you hear the chorus and mute that, I think it's missing something, definitely. If you add it back in. I think it's pretty great at filling this space out or adding this thing that's just missing. So in the second instrument break, if we play every pad and keys, we can hear this. Because the powerful pad is added, it's also a little bit more, or a little bit thicker, the sound. That was the pads. Now we can talk about the arpeggiating synth. If we just open up that folder and take a listen to just the synth. They sound like this. They're also doubled up. We have one part of this plucky arpeggiating synth. It's mostly adding top end. And we have this fat arpeggiating synth. That's just the main part. And as you can also see, I drew in an automation to increase the volume going in, or just fade in the volume slowly going into the pre-chorus. Because also in the original, I noticed that you really can't hear the arpeggiating synth that much just directly into the pre-chorus. It just takes some time to fade in. And also a quick tip for you, don't automate the automation, automate the gain. You can either just automate the gain of your DAW, the pre-gain, or just use a plugin, for example, kilohertz gain, just like I did. So this synth is also at the end playing the outro. Also just like in the original. So next thing I want to focus on is the special effects. If we just take a look, we have this special effects layer right here, and we have three layers. So we basically just have the cassette insertion, the tape play button, and the siren. First, we will focus on the cassette insertion and the tape play button. They just sound like this. And I also doubled up this play button, because if we don't double it up, it just sounds like this. I think there's something missing. I really like how something as simple as a recording of a cassette insertion at the beginning of the song can change the whole mood for the song. Because especially if you put it at the start, you actually really change how the listener listens to the song, I think. So next thing I want to talk about is the siren, as I call it. It's also in the original song, and it sounds like this. I just made it using an app on my iPad that's called Moog Model D. In the cover video, you can also see how we're playing that. And I first used the stylophone to do that. Because as you can see, this event is just called stylophone. And we can go back a version, and you can hear how this actually sounds in one of the early versions. And I really didn't like the sound of this stylophone because it wasn't as smooth as I hoped. So I just used the Moog Model D app. It's really awesome. It's also free for iOS, I think. As you can hear, if we would just listen to this transition without the siren, it would lack something. Just missing out on the siren. If we just put it in again, it just sounds like this. Filling out this transition. Awesome. Next thing I want to talk about is the ad-libs. And I really experimented there because the main layer is this ooze low layer, and you probably recognize it if you heard my cover version already. It's the most prominent thing you'll hear in the instrumental break, I think. Or the most recognizable ad-lib at least. So the main thing that's actually doing this effect is the emergence plugin. I really like the Emergence plugin, just get it, it's free. And as you can see, everything, so basically I just reversed it and it has this nice ambience. Because if I just get rid of this plugin, it doesn't sound as good as before. That's basically the main thing. Other than that, I just did basic stuff, used a compressor, some fresh air, and saturation to give it a little bit more, to let it push a little bit more through the whole mix. And yeah, other than that, pretty basic stuff right there. We also have this spooky layer that's like this. And the hums layer that's playing this. Both just to add some texture. So if we play the whole ad-libs in the first instrumental break, it's just like this. But at the second chorus, you can hear that there are even more ad-libs coming in. I'll just play them. As you can hear, I added a harmony and also panned them left and right. So I just did different takes, and I think my goal was achieved because I wanted to just get a really nice wide stereo image of these hums or these oohs. And in the instrumental break, we just have all of the ad-libs combined, which sounds like this. And they're definitely working nicely together with the pads. If we just play them together, it just sounds pretty nice. Really atmospheric also. So next thing I want to talk about is the vocal production. And it's also the last thing that I want to talk about. So as you can see, we have two groups. Firstly, the lead vox, and secondly, the harmony vox. So the production of the vocals is not that complicated. As you can see, in the verses, we only have some single-tracked vocal in the middle, in the center. And in the first chorus and the second chorus, we have them doubled up. But in the first chorus, it's not really that noticeable because I wanted to make it less thick than in the second chorus. And in the second chorus, we can definitely hear that there are doubles left and right. So I'll just show you the first chorus. Get rid of the left double and the right double. Not that noticeable really. Added it back in. Not that noticeable. But if we take a look at the second chorus, way more white. Definitely differently processed. And if I check them out, the doubles, we can hear a very big difference. It's just way more thick with the doubles. So also in the second chorus we have harmonies. We firstly have this octave down. That's just recorded well an octave down. So with that in, it sounds like this. Also a little bit more thickened up. And we have a harmony that also thickens up everything. So we have pretty big vocals in the second chorus compared to the verses and even the first chorus. So that was basically everything that went into the production of my cover version of the song Stranger by BLANKS. If you like this, definitely go ahead, and if you didn't already know it, check out the original and put it in your playlist. It's just an awesome song. And also don't forget, this cover version is also up in Spotify, Deezer, YouTube Music, Pandora, and Tidal. So go ahead and maybe also put it into your playlist. I would really thank you. And Just if you like it though. And other than that, I think we're done here, so we'll just see you in another video.